Man is in the building, of course. Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. And we are celebrating our legends right here, Jersey, baby. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media. Jersey, you know I love you. Jersey, you know we got bars and we got music and we got legends all day. And if you believe in Jersey and you love Jersey like I do, support that Heritage Hip Hop on all social media platforms. This is Redman and I approve this message.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This is Karev speaking, and it is a pleasure to get back to y'all. It's been a hard week. It's been a hard month. It's been a hard year. But you know what it said? You know what they say? Pressure bust pipes, and pressure cars make diamonds. Also make diamonds. We're diamonds up in here. We shining through the grace of God, and we're bringing you not only the best when it comes to hearing the story of New Jersey's up-and-coming future favorite artists. We're giving you hip-hop in its purest form. So make sure you subscribe to heritagehiphop.com. Look down there. It says hit the like button, comment, share the video, subscribe, and join us. Because today we have an artist who's new to hip-hop, but his message is very necessary and clairvoyant because it's giving people who complain about hip-hop hope in something that makes you realize that hip-hop is important, and it reminds you of why you fell in love with hip-hop in the first place. We're going to talk to somebody who not only is walking into something new, but he's exposed to something new and well learned at the same time. See, music is not only what you listen to, it's what you live and how you express your connection with God to inspire those who come after you. So without further ado, I want this gentleman to introduce himself. Talk to the people. Who are you, sir?
Peace, family. I am AME-FEA. I'm an artist and producer, and I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Talk about it. All right, we got Elizabeth back in the building. Shout out to Elizabeth, New Jersey. All right, so welcome to the show. And I like to do my podcast differently. You're a new artist, so you may hear some questions that other people have asked before, but I'm respectfully give you the questions in a different way. I don't want to know exactly who your top 5 of things is. I want to know who you are. So music is a different language, right? Music is not just a feeling. It's something that when it clicks and you feel it, it starts to talk to you and then you start to create it. When did music first talk to you and what did it say to you?
Music first came to me more of like a vibe. Like it was more like I didn't see the message in music until like I had to sit down in life. So music has always touched my soul because I always just love music, and no matter what genre. If it's good, it was good, you know. Yeah, for the most part, music has always been within my family, just within my spirit.
See, spirituality is a major part of music because music comes from the ether, yo. It's like you never go to somewhere like, I'm gonna get music. You create it. Music is some type of weird energy or language that comes from up somewhere up here, that comes here, it comes out of here, that is produced here. And not only do you change lives with it, you start to capture people's attentions and you connect with something inside of them that they didn't even know they had. When's the first time you did create it or did something with music that people started to take mention or attention to you and you start thinking, I could do this?
I'm going to say with that, it was more of like people kind of question, especially the people I was around. They was kind of questioning what I was speaking on because I started to do research on a lot of things that I learned, you know, and I was like, yo, I don't even hear this a lot in my music and in music too much, like in modern music. And I started just putting the messages in my music. And I think I'm not even gonna say I think, I'm gonna say my first semester in college is when I was around more people. And you know, I said, you know, they asked me who I was and I introduced myself to them. And I was like, yeah, I'm an artist and producer, and I make conscious music. So it was like conscious music. I'm like, yeah, just spreading enlightenment, spreading awareness, spreading information that we're supposed to know. So, I would get them my link to my music. They'll listen to it, and they'll see me next day. Be like, yo, what you mean by this? Or what do you mean by that? So, I just plant seeds. You know what I'm saying?
Planting seeds is very important because that's what life is all about. Like when you think about religious things, you think about the people who believe in Christ, and they say that the faith of a mustard seed is very, very small, but the tree that it blooms into is like one of the most biggest, most abundant, giving, life-giving trees that there is. And one thing about seeds is seeds had to be nurtured. Who nurtured your seeds to give you the message, to grow, to give you this message that you like to give out in your music?
I'm gonna say the Most High. The Most High speak to me. I ain't, I really simply just allow my intuition to bring everything together. I talk from experiences, and I use my experiences to shape what I actually want to say.
Life is a school. It's also a classroom without walls. And experience is the schoolmaster that that gives you the lessons of the day, whether you're in the school of hard knocks or you grow up in the classroom in the books. Experience is what experience is what brands you as the man or woman that you are when you take on your purpose. What's the first song you heard that gave you purpose? And what's the song you created that fortified and stamped that purpose?
I'm going to say, okay, I got into making more conscious music because I was going through a healing journey. And at the time, I didn't actually really know too many like super conscious artists. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So I was like, you know what? Why not start making my own conscious music? Why not start making music that I can heal from myself and just, use my experiences to speak on what I need to speak on. And it was the song that really stepped out for me was I put out a song called Confidence is Key. And that one, it was basically me speaking on, like, how you have to have confidence in yourself, and just how the government, it's just a lot that, stuff that's thrown under the rug that we're supposed to know. So, I went into more of that lane with just speaking about how to just embrace your authenticities. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's deep though? Conscious music has always been one of the main pillars of what is hip hop. And you know what's funny? The streets always ran hip hop, but the streets was never full of dummies. And it was when the industry walked in and gave people money, people started to play the fool and not be the character in which they were made to portray. Like I find it funny how people talk about Lil Wayne as if he's like a caricature of a black man when this man actually went to college. You know what I'm saying? And he had great grades. So did Prodigy, so did J. Cole, so did Plies. You have people who take the conscious and the very learned element of our culture and try to destroy it. Why do you think consciousness is so downplayed in our society, and if not our society, in our music?
Well, geez, that's a good question. I'm going to say consciousness is actually watered down because if people don't actually know what's going on, they're easier to control. You know, I feel a lot of music is basically it's agendas being pushed in music nowadays. Whether it's killing, women just not respecting themselves, or just it's just a lot that goes on in the music nowadays. So it's brainwashing. So if you hear this on a consistent basis, then it's like it kind of I'm not gonna say it kind of it sits in your subconscious mind, and then you start repeating the lyrics over and over and over again. So most people know that the tongue is real powerful, and some people don't. So when you consistently speak these things, you could literally just manifest that whole whatever you just said into your life. So if they could get people to keep saying that and get people to live in pain, live in fear, it's easy to control them.
Well, that's called vibrations We're putting vibrations into the culture. But
Mhm.
think about it. Is hip hop really the cause of that? When there's a component, a machine behind what goes out that dictates the release of what is being shown, said, or exposed to people to have those images in their heads to you?
Repeat that one more time.
Like, is it hip hop's fault? Is like this, especially when there's a machine behind it that controls the imagery and the releasing of these things that exposes people to these low frequencies, low vibrations on a consistent matter?
I wouldn't say it's hip hop only because you have other genres of music that you can still speak the same things on. As far as just like, for instance, you got rock. You know what I'm saying? You can make sad music. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of music has like it's a lot of mantras in music. So it's more. Yeah, I'm gonna say that it's not just hip hop. It's not just hip hop.
So then that means that the cause is the issue, not the why. Shout out to Jada Kiss for why, but the answer to the
Mhm.
why is the cause. And the cause of what it is I believe, you can tell me if I'm wrong, whenever you have a society that's built on riches, you have to exploit people to maintain your riches. And the exploitation of hip hop further goes into the powers that are, the powers that be, and the powers that continue. Because the powers that are the people right now who are in the midst of the fight. The powers that be are the people who become or who become the rulers through initiation, through influence, through change. And then you have then you have the powers of those who are going to be affected. And my question to you in understanding the power is, if it's not just hip hop, then how does hip hop through consciousness not only elevates itself but save itself at the same time for being taken over by people, especially who are in it, that's trying to destroy it, in your opinion?
Whoa, jeez. Okay. Um. Well. Hmm. I want you because I really want to answer this question. Repeat this one. Repeat this one more time because this is a good question.
Thank you. We need hip hop to raise itself and also save
Mhm.
itself. How do we how does hip hop raise itself and save itself against the people who are in power, against the people who are affected by their power, and by the people who are caught in the midst of this power?
I'm gonna say people have a choice. Honestly, there's a choice in what you want to listen to. You know, I'm going to say that you know, based off my experiences and listening to music, I learned that a lot of music that I used to listen to didn't really put much value into my life, and it kind of triggered me into like believing in things that wasn't actually true. So that was the
Mm,
effect that it had on me. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And the change is when I realized, okay, I could use music to heal. I could use music to, you know, spread enlightenment. You get what I'm saying? And that's how I would see. Yeah, I can't really like. That's a good question, man. That's a good question.
well,
That is a
check
good
this
question.
out. Hip hop from its early inception has been everything that we see today, but it had balance. So, um, you had people like what's the major argument you hear about hip hop today, right? Hip hop is not lyrical enough. You hear that, right?
Mhm.
I quote DMX, rest in peace to the dog. One of the original songs that we heard of hip hop was the hip it to the hip hop, and you don't stop, we rock it to the bang bang boogie. DMX said, "What the fuck is the hip it?" You know what I'm saying? So that's not lyrical, but it was a vibe. So you got
Mhm.
you in the party, you vibing. You got hands on your knees, hands on your knees. You know, but guess what? Sex has also been a part of hip hop from the beginning because
Mhm.
men like girls, girls like guys, and so on and so on. And as today goes on, but couples and love has always been the institution of what all black music is made of, right? Even today, when you have explicit versus non-explicit, we had people that cursed, the people that didn't curse, but the balance was what made it happen. Gangster music versus reality rap, not gangster music, reality rap versus conscious rap. It was always there. For your NWAs, you had your public enemies. Let's go a little lower. For your Ice Cubes, you had your, let's just say, Scarface and Nas. For your Ice T's, you had your LL Cool J's, the Big Daddy Kanes, and then the gods of Earth. They was always there to balance it out. But the biggest sin that happened to hip hop to me is when people start putting money in and say, well, we're going to promote this. And it gave the people an overabundance of images that outbalanced everything. And then that's what killed the message. You are one of those people who are continuing the line of having a message. How important is it to have a message? And what kind of opposition have you faced by giving your message?
Okay, the message that I gave was basically just, teaching people that they have the power within themselves to heal themselves. I'm gonna say, yeah, people have the power to heal themselves. I know that, it takes people some sit downs. It takes some people life lessons, and I'm gonna just say the opposition that I faced when it came to music is just like, I lost a lot of friends that I thought were friends, at the time. And, you lose a lot, like family members, because when you start believing in what you actually was supposed to be believing in, it's like, all right, like you start to live your real life, you know what I'm saying? And be you. And, not everybody is comfortable with being them. So you kind of just like drift off into your own, like, your own space after a while. So my opposition that I face is just, yeah, I lost a lot of friends, you know what I'm saying? And that's okay, because that's part of the journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, we talking to AME-FEA. I say that?
AME-FEA.
AME-FEA. New Jersey
Yeah.
hip hop in the building, y'all. And we're talking about something very particular that I want to focus on. So we're gonna go into the Let's Build portion of the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, where the artist says something so thought provoking that we have to stay here on the subject for a minute. Hip hop comes, or any journey that you go on, comes with a great gain because it's a gamble, or it comes with a great loss. And losing people, losing sleep, losing money. I mean, you lose a lot when it comes to focusing on a dream. How important is it for a man, though, or woman, a person, to have a dream and test the boundaries of that dream? Talk to me about that.
I'm gonna say you gotta kind of. I ain't gonna say kind. I'm not gonna take kind out. You gotta be delusional. You have to be delusional. You have to be. You have to believe in it yourself. You have to want it for yourself. Um, because I always take it like this: if you don't see the vision yourself, no one's gonna see a vision. If you don't put in the effort yourself, no one is gonna help you put in the effort. So it's like whoever sees it and wants to help you build, that's the people you want to actually be around. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone has their own vision, and that's cool because everyone's supposed to have their own perspective. So I do know that man, you with being in music, you kind of sacrifice a lot of like family time, and it's like it's different between bad sacrifices and healthy sacrifices. You know, I'm gonna say I make time more now. You know what I'm saying? But I do know that when you in the music field, it's more like sacrificing a lot of things, like quality time or just like self-care things and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something. Shout out to everybody that's joining us on the Instagram. Shout out to everybody joining us on the Facebook and the YouTube. Leave your comments below. We want to know that you're there. We want to hit this algorithm. And if y'all have any questions, your questions are on, or join us for the rapid fire questions as well. But I want to go back into something very spiritual with you because we said conscious. So conscious is godliness, right?
Yes.
Think about this. To be a conscious person in faith, you talk to yourself. Because you don't, when you pray, there's not nothing that you see, but you believe something's there, something answers you. And guess what? That something actually answers you. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So think about how crazy that is, right? Then think about how crazy it is to sit down at a machine and hear something in your head and try to reproduce it so people can hear it. I got even something better for you. Imagine you sitting down with a piece of paper and a pencil or pen, and you hear a voice telling you what to say. Nobody else can hear it, but you
Mm-hmm.
repeat the words that's inside of your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes the light, the purpose, the dream so meaningful. Is that when you find out that people who don't hear that inner voice connect to your inner voice, connect to your inner beatsmith, the producer, connect to your inner connection with the Most High that gives you that conscious creativity, that's when life starts to change. Because we have God, art, influence, inspiration, and most importantly, we have each other. Who has helped you on your journey connect not only to God, but who has helped you on your creative journey to show you you're on the right path?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I have been ever since I started, being more conscious and on my journey. I actually been in more solitude. So I taught myself most of like, things that I'm supposed to know. I took the time. I might, I do my research, of course, on things, but you already have the answers within you. And we're actually, I feel like we're taught, like we're programmed to second guess ourselves. So when you start to really sit back, when you analyze yourself, because you're a reflection of everybody. You know what I'm saying? The people you come across, you're a reflection of them. So you put out bad, or you say for instance you disrespect somebody, and then 5 minutes later somebody disrespect you. Yeah, that's because that's how it works. So when you start to really sit back and analyze yourself and be like, okay, I know what I got to change. I know what I should change. You kind of just like start to listen to, when you reprogram. I'm gonna say when you reprogram your mind, you start to listen to that voice more. So it's basically you picking, you have a choice to be a god, or you have the choice to be the devil. So you around negativity all the time, that voice in your head, that's who that is, the devil. You know what I'm saying? When you start having the good thoughts and everything's flowing the right way, listen to that voice, man. We program to second guess ourselves, and that's the problem.
The kingdom of heaven is within. That's what we
Yes.
always hear, but we always do this looking for the answers. And sometimes all you
Mm-hmm.
gotta do is just be still and let the answers come from within to make the world without perfect. It matches what's within your heart. Hey man, we talking some
Mm-hmm.
real stuff for Heritage Hip Hop Podcast today. How y'all liking the conversation? Leave a like, share. Let's get this out. Hit them comments. I want those comments to go crazy today, if possible, please, y'all. But I want to keep on this. Let's build and let's talk about that consciousness. Because let me ask you a question: what's the most conscious song in hip hop you ever heard outside of your own?
The most conscious song that I ever heard. Hmm. Now let me think about it.
If you have more than
Let
one,
me
give me
think
three
about
or four, maybe five. All right.
the most conscious song, because I know from my past, I would listen to a lot of Kendrick, but I'm gonna say more of like, what's that artist name, man? Oh man, oh, if I could look this up. Should I look his name up real quick? Let me see some. Let me see. I know I forgot his name. Hold up, I got you right now. Let me
I
see.
told y'all, when you come on Heritage Hip Hop, we don't ask them typical questions.
Let
We ain't
me see.
asking
Now
who
that you
butt
ask
fat.
good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, hold up. I'm gonna let you know right now.
We ain't asking who butt fat. We talking real hip hop today. You know what I mean? All the time.
So I'm gonna say when I first started, like I said, conscious music, it was an artist. He went by Spiritual Tony. That's the dude. But It was another one. He was named. His name was Immortal Technique.
Mortal Technique. Shout out to the OG Mortal Technique.
Yeah, that dude, man. Yeah, he gets real deep. And then Bob Marley is also a conscious artist as well. Musician. So he definitely spoke about a lot of things, but he planted seeds.
And I love the way that you said that, because that's part of my point where we were going with this as we go to the second part of the interview. See how the spirit work, y'all? Check this out. Conscious hip hop is everywhere at the same time. Whether you like Christian rap, street rap, or whatever. Think about this. People talk about Kendrick right now because that's the generation that we're in. Kendrick single-handedly took hip hop from the South, and took it back to the West, right? So we got Not Like Us. We got All Right. We got How Much a Dollar Costs, The Black and the Berry. We got the stuff from Mr. Morale. Like, he has songs that builds the consciousness of the listener, and also takes the listener into the inner self. What about people like Nas? What about people like Ice Cube?
Yeah.
What about Public Enemy, YZ, Paris, X-Clan, Conscious Daughters? Like, we have people out there. Shout out to the Conscious Daughters, RIP to the sister. But we have people out there who, no matter if the song or the album was street or whatever, they always gave you a seed to lead you to something.
Yeah, even
Erykah Badu, Wu-Tang Clan, right? But check this out. Some of the greatest MCs aren't rappers, and we quote them in our music, like Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., both rest in peace to them, Medgar Evers, Marcus Garvey, Fannie Lou Hamer. I gotta put women in there too, y'all. Sister Soldier. Consciousness has always been a part of what makes our culture necessary for the world. But I want to ask you this. The most effective way to kill consciousness is to kill love. With the death of R&B music, we have less love in music and we have more bravado in music. Is consciousness in music also, is the job of consciousness in music also to raise the awareness of the necessity of love, not just dope beats, rhymes, and vibes to you?
Yeah, I would say it's more of I would say it's definitely spreading love, because you connect to people. If people could like your music, that's already love. If people could like use your music to benefit in any type of way, that's a form of love, because you help that person.
Let's go deeper, because you said love, music is healing, right?
Yes.
And healing is love. Let's get conscious now.
Okay.
What is it called when music instruments come together to make one sound and it works together? What is that called?
What is that called?
It's called harmony.
Okay.
When your body's healthy, it moves in what?
Harmony. Yeah.
Okay. So what's the most important part of the beat?
I'm gonna say the drums.
The drum. Your heart is the drum of your body, because it gives the rhythm of life, the beat in which you move. Music is written on a stanza, and each line is called a step. You take steps in your journey of life. See, music, consciousness goes together because God, the great architect, never made something and just threw it away. It always had a purpose. It always went together. So yes, it heals. Yes, it's loving. But with the AI, the animatronics, the system, the machine, they have taken love out of the music and made it a commodity. And just like any commodity, you can consume it to the point where it sickens you and you want nothing to do with it. So I ask you, as we go to the next part of the interview, as a new artist, how do you make sure people are sustained by your music and don't fast food your music, but treat it as a commodity and get rid of it after they listen to it?
It's like I'm going to say that in reality, it's like you can't really force people to hear what they're not ready to hear. That's one thing I had to learn behind it. You know, you're going to, regardless of the fact, your music will touch who it needs to touch in the right time when it needs to touch them. So, you know, yeah, you can't rush the process with that at all. Hold on, you went mute. You went mute.
My bad. That's why no music is old.
Mm-hmm.
That's why everything's new to a new set of ears, and everything looks new to a new set of eyes. So just remember, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you make music or you're getting into music, it don't matter how old it is. It matters what if it hits your soul or not. And we'll be right back after this brief pause to hit your soul with my man AME-FEA. Right? I got it right?
AME-FEA.
AME-FEA. I'm
AME,
learning.
like AME-FEA. You're not the only one, man. AME-FEA.
AME-FEA. AME-FEA. We'll be right back. So stay tuned.
Where you get your hip hop from? Yeah. What's up? This tribal trigger trench in the building. You already know. Nip, naughty.
Hey, Redman is in the building, of course. Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media.
What up, y'all, man? It's your boy Do It All, Do Pray Kelly, right here on Heritage Hip Hop, man. Look, man, let me tell you something. Make sure you support Heritage Hip Hop, because without these brothers bringing you hip hop, we're not gonna stay informed, man, the way that we need to stay informed, man. And they're not just giving you hip hop, man. They're giving you the heritage of hip hop, right here, man. Yo, Karev, I see you. Heritage Hip Hop, man. Let's do it. It ain't nothing like Heritage Hip Hop.
Jam to my own shit. I told y'all, I don't be beef for nobody's stuff. I jam to my own shit. So y'all, thank y'all for coming back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast tonight. We with AME-FEA. Got it?
AME-FEA. You close it, get closer, man.
Closing. But yo, roll call. Shout out to everybody out there watching. Drop a comment. Where are you from? Where are you watching this hip hop from? Where are you from? Because New Jersey hip hop is in the building. And I want to celebrate my brother right here because I met him at a beat battle at A Squad Rebel Radio, thrown by my brother Stan Ipkiss. Hey, shout out to her headphone therapy. Tell me about how you got into that battle and what did you want to prove while you went out into the battle?
Man. I got into this battle because I it came across IP Kiss. I think that's what his name was. That's his name. IP Kiss. Ipkiss. Okay, Ipkiss. I seen him post something, and it was a beat battle. So I was like, I ain't never do a beat battle before. So I signed up. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't thinking too much of it because I had a whole bunch of beats in my vault, and I'm just like, all right, let me go try something new that I never did before, and just stepping out my comfort zone, and I got in there, and then it was that experience was legit for me. It came to a sudden death in the finals for my first beat battle. So it was like that was already it's a win-win situation right there. I learned a lot. I got to connect with a lot of different producers and meet like-minded individuals. So that whole beat battle, man, that was epic. Everybody had great beats.
You're coming out of your comfort zone, right? That's part of life. Because when you're comfortable, that means nothing changes. You have to get uncomfortable to see where you stack up in the range of life and if you're making an impact. You know what I'm saying? And I want to talk about Be the Light. Because putting out a project is very uncomfortable. Because some people like, it's on streaming media, whatever. I'll just put out there and see what happens. Which is very stupid. But then you have people who put their music out there and they genuinely are giving their soul to people, talking over beats, giving messages within their heart. being unpolished and giving people their intuition. What was your goal with Be the Light? What did you get from it? Your first album or project
Oof.
on the streaming platforms I see that came out in 2023.
Be the Light was actually the tape. The tape I actually had majority of like what I needed to express out from what I taught myself, what I learned, and just life in general. Be the Light actually put that tape on at the time really because it came across my mind. I threw it on the JPay as well because just because I was like I was incarcerated before, so I'm like, Dad, I feel people that's incarcerated can listen to this music. Like y'all can listen to this music, you know what I'm saying? And it can help y'all at least, get y'all ready for the out world, and Be the Light was that Be the Light tape actually touched a lot of people. I got a lot of good feedback from that tape. And yeah, overall that tape to me, I have put a lot of good gems in that project.
That project is very raw because your music structure is not polished. You're talking and giving a lot of words, and you didn't give the listener a lot of time to digest. And I'm gonna tell you one of the songs I really enjoyed. The message was "Swindle You." 'Cause
Oh yeah,
that's one of the ones where you talk about the importance of being straight up, correct?
yes,
And a lot of this stuff in the world today is it's bullshit. You
yeah.
need a lot of representatives and not the truth. From "Swindle You" to even the song for the people, you're
Mm.
very direct on giving the words necessary to uplift, uphold, and teach. What's more important to you, to teach the listener or to uphold the listener so they get the message?
I'm going to say uphold because uphold teaching is like everyone learns differently. Some people I'm gonna say teaching is like a it could be a domino effect, but the person has to want to learn. So teaching is like an iffy type of thing because you could tell somebody something, you're teaching them something, but if it goes in the air out the other, you basically, So I look to uphold.
Trick question. What's more important, the teacher or the student?
Mm, mm. What's more important, the teacher or the student? Man, I'm gonna take a guess on that one. I'm gonna go with the student
Why?
because the student has the opportunity or choice to take in what the teacher is giving them.
Very profound. You answered the question on your song "Evolve" from Trilogy, by the way. Welcome to New Earth.
Mhm.
You didn't
My guy.
answer that question. Who's more important, the teacher or the student? It's the student because the teacher is a student. Because this teacher does not learn the students, he cannot teach them.
Mm.
So it says one is as important as the other. Shout out to Leather Flower up here, dropping knowledge. One is as important as the other.
Mm.
How about they're both the same? One just has experience.
Mm.
And that's what Evolve was about. Tell me about the song Evolve.
Evolve. Oh, that's more of like I know that was a project. That was like a beat tape project. So I'm gonna say me and Triller J put that project out. Shout out to Triller J who watching this, my guy, man. We put out that project to basically it was more of like it was a hertz. We set all those beats to 432 hertz, which is it's like a miracle tone, and it's the miracle tone of nature. You know what I'm saying? It's like the set frequency for a good vibration. And we set all the beats on that tape. So that project was strictly just to like combine like trap sounds, hip hop sounds, art, different sounds, but make it to where you could literally listen to it and it can help heal you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Evolve, man. Oh man, that whole tape resonated so well, man. It resonated too well.
Do you want to know why I picked that song?
What?
Well, mind you, yes, it is a beat tape, y'all. They're not rhyming on that song.
Mm-hmm.
But with hip hop, you have to learn the artist to appreciate their music. So if you're coming to my podcast, and you can tell I like to talk, I like to converse. I don't like to ask question. I have to learn you to understand you. Just the same way I have to give you so that you can reflect and give back. That's a reciprocal relationship. That's the evolution, the evolving of personalities and learning. So evolve meant something to me because in the sounds, the synths in there, correct?
Yeah.
In the sounds, you have to learn how the placement of the synths goes with the drums to give you that background, to give you the highs and lows, the hats. And that's what makes a teacher and a student reflect each other, because the student will sit and listen to the beat, but the teacher will have to understand so they can ask the student what they meant when they created that song. So congratulations, sir. You're a teacher and a student at the same time.
Okay.
Feel good about
That's a good way to put it. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go for the gusto on the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, and we're gonna move on to this gentleman's next. I like to skip through the projects to show them I listen to the music, not just talk to them. And I want to talk to you about angelic signs on the artist before producer of a project. Tell me about the importance of angelic signs, and what are the signs that make hip hop quality to you is something that you want to do.
Angelic signs, man. That's basically, angel numbers, for sure. I'm gonna say there, the world that we live in is coded. You know what I'm saying? And if you paying attention, it's not really hard to not see the codes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to see it's not hard to see the codes. I'm gonna say that. The universe talks to us through numbers, because before letters we had numbers. So angelic signs is basically just like every set of numbers have a meaning to them. So if you pay attention to the numbers that you're coming across, they're basically giving you straight guidance. They letting you know what to do next. So if you have if you're aligned with your path and you're on a natural flow state, those numbers could be positive things. And then if you have a negative mindset, most of those numbers are going to be like telling you to recheck your mindset, like, or just it's warning signs. You know what I'm saying? So angelic signs is basically just like spreading awareness that like there is more. It's more. This world is just coded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but come on, man, talk to me. Welcome to 222, the show. And 222 is an angelic number meaning balance, harmony, and trusting the divine. So when you open up that project, which is the last project we talked about, welcoming New Earth, and you talk about angelic numbers and you talk about angelic signs, are you marrying the idea that the higher power is in control and we had to let the music speak through us, or the higher power is in control and we have to compel the music to reflect us?
Repeat that one more time.
So with the numbers you're saying, are you saying through divination, divine numbers, and connection to the Most High, as you said, right? 1 2 1 2 check. I heard the mic was low. Let's put it up a little bit. All right. So we're talking about divination and things like that. I'm asking you, are we using the music to connect people to something higher, or are we using the music to give people something higher, to give them something to connect to, basically?
I'm gonna say we're giving them music to something to connect to. I'm gonna say it like that because, like we spoke about in the beginning, it's planting seeds. So if you could get them to look, at least just do to think. If you could get people to just think about what you're saying, it's going to direct them in a way they need to be directed.
So direct me. The most beautiful thing about music is history.
Mm-hmm.
And the history of music follows the pattern of life. When people wanted to talk to God, they sung. When people wanted to have sex and they wanted to be cool with the complementary sex. We don't believe in opposite sex here. Which when your complementary partner, you sung or you danced. Even when people had libations, they broke bread to song because it was a higher frequency vibe of power that brought them to understanding, to peace. With music being what it is now, are we giving people peace or are we sleeping on its power to our own destruction, in your opinion?
Sheesh. In my opinion, see, with that question, in my opinion, it's either or, because it's people have a choice. You know, yeah, I feel people have a choice. People have a choice.
All right, so tell me about the choice you made when making the song "Growing." I like that song. It's on the More to the Journey project, which is out now on all streaming platforms. Stream it if y'all like it. Stream it to like it, but if you like it, I ask that you buy it and put some money in his pocket. The Growing song talks about choices and it talks about the journey that you're on in life. So talk about growth, and then talk about that question I just asked you about going to your next level.
Mm-hmm. So growth is me just taking time to look back at things I know I feel I should change within myself. We all grow up with bad habits. You know what I'm saying? And I use that song as when I made that song. It was basically me shedding old skin. I mean, just like the old phases, my old some of the old things that I used to do consistently, or bad habits. So when I made that song, it was basically just like, all right, this is like a new form, like a new way. That's like more, and like I named the project More to the Journey too, because it was just like, the journey never ends. So I'm growing, I'm going to continue to grow.
And I need that from you, because if you're going to keep hip hop relevant, it has to grow. Look what happened to R&B. R&B was everywhere at one time, where R&B and hip hop didn't get along. Then they got along. And then the hip hop R&B was destroyed in the mainstream, and now rappers sing horribly at that too. Trash. Right? And now you got people trying to destroy hip hop from the industry out. Afro beats is going to be what everybody wants. They don't want street music no more. They don't want hip hop no more. But look what Kendrick Lamar, look what J. Cole has done. Look what the underground and the independent artists do to keep that sound relevant. Look at what Doechii, look what she did. Look what Rhapsody does. Look what you do. And the thing about hip hop and growth and potential is that it can either be wasted or realized. What are you doing to realize your potential and not waste your calling when it comes to making music?
To realize my talent. I really just, I don't look at music as a job. I look at it as something that's like I love to do. So it's strictly just me being myself, doing something that I love to do without thinking anything behind it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Don't diminish your answer, man. Everything that you say is important, because you follow the line. You follow the line of creativity from eons ago. I'm gonna teach you something. When you study music history, you go into where things came from, right? right? What's the first song ever sampled?
Hold on. You repeat that one more time. Could you lag?
What we always talk about when we talk about music, we talk about the history of music, right? Because the history teaches us about ourselves. I'm gonna teach you about you because you sample, right? Yeah. What's the first song documented as what's the first documented song that was sampled or that is sampled?
Yeah, you got me beat with that question.
Sorry for that. The first song documented in history ever sampled came from the Bible, where there was a psalm, a prayer written to the song called "The Hind in the Wind," which was about a deer that runs through the forest, and they used that melody to praise God as a religious song. That's sampling. We have a book of Psalms, and the book of Psalms talks about life, death, perseverance, praise, worship, and things of that sort. As you create your music, not only are you reflecting God's purpose for you, you're reflecting the importance of humanity and creation to keep God alive. What does that mean to you?
I'm going to say with my music, I keep God alive because God is of course within us all. So if I speak my essence, and to something that I love to do, I feel like I'm already spreading that light that I need to spread.
Spreading the light, which goes back to what we're talking about. Hip hop today is doing a piss poor job of spreading light. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I think so.
I do.
And the reason why I think so is because now that hip hop has evolved to this podcasting media, we have the opportunity to save it where people are trying to throw it away. Like, you know what's unfair about what's going to happen to you? And I'm pointing to you, all of you in the camera, not just the gentleman here. The one thing that's going to happen is people are going to criticize you so much, they're going to turn people off from your music and then focus on the old music. So everything just becomes old school and then there's no new school. We kind of see that now. So the hip hop media has the job, the calling to counteract those people who hate everything to give them something new and fresh. You feel me? The thing about that is people, since like you're not a polished, you didn't go through an A&R and all that stuff with a label. You know what I'm saying? You're putting your music out fresh. People are going to have to grow with you to understand you, which is a beautiful thing in itself. My question for you is to fight the commodity of hip hop, to fight the mainstream killing of hip hop. How do you keep yourself relevant to the people who look for the message and who need the message?
I don't chase people to listen. I put my music out, and eventually, just like how other conscious like artists I mentioned, I told you Spiritual Tony before. I came across his music not looking for his music, and he was a conscious artist. You know what I'm saying? So my music is going to touch who it needs to touch, regardless of I don't have to do too much. Like I'll do what promote it here and just put myself out there, but I don't chase people down. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that. That's everything marinates how it needs to marinate.
And you're gonna make it just for that. Because you know what? Yeah. Being a part of hip hop media, we hear about Tory Lanez getting stabbed 14 times. We hear about Diddy and sex trials. We hear about, rest in peace to the young man in Philadelphia who got killed. We get so many hot topics, but we don't get the music. Think about it. Even when it comes to Tory Lanez, people talk about everything that's happening to hurt him, but nobody's playing his music. No one's talking about the songs he made. He released the album not too long ago, and they talked about Meg more than his music. Look at Diddy. Everybody go listen to the Benjamin song until they don't. But they'd rather hear how he abused a young lady, or they're talking about the abuse of a young woman. They're celebrating her song that she had in his artistry. And we don't stand by any of that stuff. Heritage Hip Hop is not into domestic violence, sex trafficking, or hurting people in any way, shape, or form. So we'll leave that right there. And then I said another one. Who was it? It was Diddy, Tory Lanez. It doesn't even matter. You know why? Because no one focuses on the music. It is a pleasure to get to talk to you and focus on your music. What is your favorite song that you made and why?
Repeat that one more time because you went in and out.
What is your favorite song that you made and why?
I still to this day would say confidence is key. I'm going to say confidence is key. Overall, just because the song itself is going to touch you. It touches me like I wasn't even the person that made the song. So it's like it has like that it has that drive that gets you to be like, dag, okay, let me start doing more for myself. Let me start gaining more confidence and, believing in myself more. That's what it was. Like I always believed in myself, of course, but it gave me that gave me that spark. And I feel like that was the whole message behind that song and why I made that song. I honestly don't even think I wrote that song. I think I freestyled that song. And and that's how I know it came from, like, the part of essence, that essence. And I have another song that's also like a newer song though. It's newer. It's called Energy Up. That song right there, is that's that song right there, man. Oh my goodness. When I first performed that song, I knew it touched people. Just the energy like in the room. Hitting the stage. Oh man, hitting the stage. My first performance, man, I wasn't even nervous. My first performance. I feel like it's just like, what am I nervous for? If I'm up here having fun, just being myself. But my first performance, I'm gonna say, I wasn't even making conscious music. I was making like what you hear during the modern times now music. I wasn't talking about, killing and, a whole bunch of craziness like that, but I was making music just like, for the vibe, or just, and my first performance was around that time when I was making that type of music.
All right. I got confused. Wait a minute. Wait. You just gave me a brain freeze. Shout out to Maya. Maya said energy up for the record. 3 5.
Yeah. All right, energy up.
So I want to ask you a question, because you're throwing me off. Energy up. Energy up is one of them feel and vibe records, right? That's when you getting the crowd into it, right?
Yes.
But you're in your namaste on the cover. What does that mean?
You see, I remember. It's basically. I'm gonna say. It's keeping your energy up no matter what's going on in life. You like, okay. you know how you remember, like you said, we going through stuff, but it's up to you if you're gonna let it affect you or not. You know what I'm saying? So whatever you're going through, it's important to keep your energy up, because once you start letting things affect you, you kind of lower your energy. So that's why I named the song "Energy Up" in that state. You know what I'm saying? Word.
I appreciate that. It's one thing people have. We have low vibrations in today's world. With the government, them now trying to cut Medicaid and Medicare, and all these things going on with the people. Music is going to become the last hope that people are going to have when there's a lack of resources, abundance of hatred, and most importantly, hope being destroyed due to the sicknesses that's going on in society. I want to ask you, this is the last question of the first part of the interview. You create music to build the conscious. How does the conscious music help build the body and the spirit, in your opinion?
That's a good question. Woo, that's a good question. Okay, wow. Well, is this? Are we talking about music in general, or a certain type of music?
In general.
I'm gonna say music helps the body, mind, and spirit. That's what you said. It helps. It's going to help the body, mind, and spirit, right? By just it's the if it resonates, it's got to resonate. Depending on what you actually, like I said, depending on what you're listening to, it can either be bad for you or it could be good for you. But for instance, some conscious artists like Erykah Badu, or like we was mentioning Kendrick Lamar and them, it's like that certain music, it gives you a feeling. A lot of music gives you a feeling. So if a certain song makes you feel like down, you're gonna feel down. That's not good for you. It's good to you feel your feelings, of course, but when you listen to music that uplifts you, that's how you know something is good for your body, mind, and spirit. It makes you think good. It makes you say good things. It makes you want to do better. So yeah, I'm gonna answer that question like that.
What's deep? Everybody wants to be loved, but is everybody ready to accept love? Maybe not, but everybody needs music, because the rhythm of life is what takes us from our journey from life, from birth to death. And we're going to interact with people on that journey. And either we can party together or we go to war together, but it all goes to the rhythm of life. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank y'all for this first part of the interview, but it's not over yet, because now we went from let's build to building on your music so people get a better understanding of you, to now time for you to stand on your square, which means talk your shit. Tell everybody what your name, how to follow you on social media, and where to get your music. You got 30 seconds. Go.
I'm AME-FEA. I'm on all platforms, AME-FEA. You can find me on Instagram, AME-FEA, AME.FEA7. I'm also up there. Like I said, I make conscious music. I'm also a producer. And, I'm looking to just spread enlightenment, share my love, and just help people elevate. You know what I'm saying? Even if I could just drop one gem, I can help you. You can help 10, So that's just what it is, man.
AME-FEA for the children. I said it right.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. That's right. I said it right. I said it right. Now say nothing to me saying I can't say it right. I said it right. Let's go. Shout out to Nicole Mena. Let's go, God. That's to you. All right. Well, like I said, everybody, if y'all in the comments, thank you. Drop some questions, because we're going to ask the questions that you have for the rapid fire questions, which is now. The rapid fire questions are not yes, no questions. This is a game that we play on Heritage Hip Hop to show you the depth of knowledge of this gentleman right here, or all the artists when they come on the platform. You ready to play this game?
Cool.
Here we go. Let's start off with something light, y'all. What album or song from another artist perfectly reflects you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Don't tap out. Don't tap out.
I'm not tapping. I'm not gonna tap. Geez. What song was it? A song or artist? You said a song or artist? Yeah. I don't want to say anything.
We gotta tap out. We gotta tap out. Oh my God, it's not a tap out. We gotta tap out. All right, let's get another one. What's your favorite hip hop beat? Meaning, if this person never had the beat, it would have been your first hip hop single.
My first hip hop beat. Oh man, I'm not gonna hold you. I like that DNA beat. That DNA beat for Kendrick. That right there.
Okay.
That's something different. Yeah.
DNA was a different joint.
Yeah.
That had to change the switch ups and everything. That was deep.
Crazy.
Yeah. Okay. I respect that. Let's go. Okay. The hot topic has taken place for the hot record. How do we switch that around?
The hot place has to. Repeat that one more time.
The hot topic has taken place, the place of the hot record. How do we switch it back so that the hot record is more important than the hot topic?
I'm gonna say by not following what everybody else following, right? I mean, that's why a lot of I'm gonna say it just like that.
That was the essence of hip hop from the beginning. It's not to do or try to be accepted. It's just to be yourself.
Yeah.
So consciously speaking, is knowledge itself the greatest lesson in hip hop that people aren't pushing anymore?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, simple answer, simple question, simple answer, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue. You're from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Shout out to Middlesex County, right? Elizabeth, New Jersey's hip hop scene is very underappreciated. What makes hip hop in Elizabeth so unique, and how do we expose it the correct way so that people from other parts of New Jersey know that Elizabeth has a sound?
I'm gonna. Man. Well, I feel with every different area has their different sound. I feel that people just are more. I'm gonna say open-mindedness. People have to be open-minded to want to hear different sounds from different areas. I do know that. I'm gonna say it like that. I don't like to say the wrong thing. I'm not gonna say the wrong thing, of course, but just like say anything.
No, just tell the truth. Look, man, look. One thing, I'm gonna tell you the truth. One thing I hate about where we're from, people got little brother syndrome. I could do this too. I'm just as good. I'm this, I'm that. That people don't put their effort into their sound. You can have the dopest album in the world and be heard by 20 of your friends, and you still rob the world of your greatness while you want millions of views and money, and you don't put yourself out there. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of people act like spoiled women. Sorry, women. I apologize. Spoiled bitches, because every woman's not a bitch. They act like it because everybody thinks they're the best thing in the world and they don't put nothing behind themselves, which goes into what you talked about at the beginning of the interview, was about believing yourself, getting out your comfort zone, and putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
That's why I believe if you really are serious about your craft, you personally, I'm talking to you, if you personally really get into your craft and you learn those things that's necessary to find your voice, not just make your music, you're going to be someone who can teach and elevate people through conscious commitment rather than someone who puts out music when they feel like it. That's a burden, but it's a beautiful one to have because showing up is more important than having something to say. And the more you show up, the more people will respond to what you have to say. You feel me?
Yeah, that resonated a lot. That actually resonates a lot because I do feel like, not gonna hold you, I got a lot of stuff in my vault, and I'm just learning more to just like stop holding on to things and put my I feel you on that one. I do feel you on that one. Yes.
All right, so let's continue with our interview. I'm gonna ask you 3 more questions and then we're gonna fade out for the night. Here's a question that I really need to ask you that's very important to me and to the people who listen to not only your music, but to music, period. Shout out to Maya. Maya said, yes, he is. He's already doing it.
Peace to the queen.
Peace to the queen.
Peace to the queen.
So Maya and everybody out here, Leatherflower, Nicole, I hope y'all hitting that subscribe button, subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop, because you see the quality of interview that we having. So I'm gonna just ask him my throwaway question. How did you like being on my podcast tonight, and would you recommend me to anybody else?
Of course, because you keep it real. You have great questions. Like I'm really over here. The questions you're asking me, if I'm telling you to repeat a question, that's because I'm like, I want to really be able to answer the question. You're asking great questions. So I would definitely recommend any artist, anybody that would like to be on the podcast to join the podcast.
See that, y'all? This is possible because of the artist and because of you. Please hit that like, subscribe, share button, and leave comments. If y'all want to help me build this platform, $ Heritage Hip Hop in the Cash App. Let's make it happen. But back to my art, to the artist and the purpose of why we're here. I just did a show recently called DMX and Tupac Are the Reason Why Hip Hop Fails Today. Hip hop is trash because of DMX and Tupac, right? And see his face. I said something. He started thinking. I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
DMX and Tupac are the reason why hip hop is trash today. And the reason why I say that, I want people to watch the show, but the reason why I say that is about heart and soul. What's more important when it comes to music? Expressing your heart or giving people your soul?
Your heart.
Why?
I'm gonna say your heart is because that's where the love resides right there. So you putting love into your music when you're doing it from the heart, from but from the soul, it's kind of, messages come from the soul too. So it's kind of like, that's one thing. Right? It's kind of like, I'm not gonna say it's a trick question, but it is a kind of a hard question to like just give a one answer to. I do feel like music comes from the heart, is love. From the soul, that's what you when you speak from the soul, when music comes from the soul, you're giving a message.
So, and that's the best part of being a creator, is you have to walk that fine line of balance to understand. I asked everybody to please check out my episode of the Mic Council. Tupac and DMX are the reason why hip hop fails. I want you to check that out and let me know what you think, because I give a lot of credit to artists like you, because when you care enough to tell people the truth, to want to expose something wrong, to elevate them, you are the most criticized and hated person in the culture. Look at D1, how everybody was getting down on D1, for telling everybody, we got to elevate. You can't be 40, 50 years old still making drug music. You got to give the people a better message. And if you talked about killing and all that, we got to get past that. And if you still want to do it, we're going to put you to the side so we can elevate. Who's the most important person to save in hip hop? The child or the consumer?
I'm going to say the child.
Why?
And I say the child because the child looks up to the ones that's older than them. So they literally see that the older ones is acting the same way. They're going to follow suit. They're going to do that. Everything that a child does is they learned it from somewhere. They don't just develop that mindset for no reason. So I feel like I feel like it's the child.
Okay. So this is the final question that we have on the Heritage Hip Hop podcast with my brother AME-FEA. I said it right.
You almost slipped, but I'm gonna let you rock. I'm let you rock. You good.
I'm trying.
You good.
Come on, man. We got to the final question of this, and it comes off of the last question I asked you. 500 years from now, when we go to the New Jersey or the Hip Hop or the Music Hall of Fame, and they hear and they see you in the exhibit, and somebody pushes that red button, and your hologram comes off the wall, and the AI tells your story, and it plays your music. 500 years from now, how did you make the world better because you did live and made hip hop music?
How did I make the world better? I shared my perspective of life from my experiences to help others not go through what they go through. No, to help others not go through what I had to go through.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, just remember this. The greatest story ever told is the one you live, not the one you read. Because your experiences will give the lessons to the next generation that some people may not ever write down, but word of mouth can affect their heart and build their character and give your name an even more pertinent legacy, because your lesson and your experience is teaching generations of people you have never seen, just like your music. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us on the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This is Karev of Heritage Hip Hop with AME-FEA. Come on now, I got it.
Yes, you good.
Man,
you good.
Hey, let me get that. But yo, thank you for joining us tonight. And make sure you check out his music on all social media, streaming media. Stream it. But if you like it, we ask that you purchase it. You guarantee yourself more music, and let's get his career going. It's already started. Let's support our mans and make sure he get what he need. With that being said, this is Karev with my dude saying peace. And we out.
Peace.
Real hip hop. Real